Hey YouTube, it's lazy Sunday morning here on the left coast, and got a question at some point last night from one of my subs asking me what the difference between gas impingement and short stroke piston operating systems were, and what the differences were as far as M4 slash M16 style rifles were. So kind of got me thinking, when you get to know weapons and the way they operate, you kind of take for granted a lot of things that a lot of people don't understand about them, especially people who aren't specifically familiar with these style rifles, and you just kind of forget about it just as a given in your knowledge set. So anyway, I thought I'd answer this individual's question by a little show and tell. Basically, the two types of operating systems on these guns are either short stroke piston, or which would be like the AK-47 style, or M14, or the Springfield M1, A1. Those are actually long stroke guns. Short stroke piston, the distance that the piston moves, obviously it's self-explanatory. The piston doesn't need to recirculate as far as the bolt goes. It only actually moves about a half an inch, maybe an inch. The other type is gas impingement, which uses the hot gases that come down the barrel when you fire the weapon to concentrate in a tube that cycles the bolt carrier. So I'll show you what the difference is specifically. Okay, so on the gas impingement, what happens is you shoot a round off. Hot gases come down the barrel, bullet exits. As the bullet's leaving the barrel, gases are collected in a hole in the barrel that this gas block, is what it's called, collects some of that gas and runs it through here into a tube that's probably going to be really hard to see on this video, but there's a steel tube inside that runs down the length that goes into the upper receiver, and you can see it in there. This black tube right here, right where my tip of my finger is, that's where the gas gets vented, and on the bolt carrier that does all the dirty work with the firing pin, the extractor, and the bolt itself, that gas runs into this little key, which forces the action to reciprocate on the rifle and makes it semi-automatic. Okay, so the difference between that and a piston system, instead of the gas being run through a tube into the upper receiver, you have a gas regulator that powers a piston that's inside this cup here. The piston pushes forward on this shaft, which is actually a combination of shafts that reciprocate the action. They're basically the same system, except this one, you can see the piston rod in there. It doesn't allow for any of the gases or crud to build up inside the upper receiver, which is kind of important. There's pros and cons to both systems. The pro to this system, the piston system, is you don't get as much buildup inside the upper receiver where all of the movement, all of the moving parts are. So the weapon stays cleaner and maintains reliability. I wouldn't say it's more reliable, but I would just leave it at that. It maintains reliability, where in this system, all that hot gas and junk left over from firing the round, unspent powder, whatever, builds up in here, and over time, it just, you can imagine it gets cruddy in there. Now, the cons of the piston system is typically piston guns are anywhere between $500 and $1,000 more to purchase. Just the nature of the beast. You can get conversion kits to go from a standard gas impingement to a short stroke piston. I think Adams Arms makes a set like that. It's the first one that comes to mind. But on the other side, the pros for the gas impingement, or exactly vice versa from the piston style, it's a lot less expensive technology. LWRC, the one that I have here, claims that by removing the gas system and using piston system, you're actually reducing the total amount of weight of the rifle, and I don't necessarily believe that's possible because there's a lot more steel involved with the piston system. Another difference that I immediately think of is felt recoil. We all have our opinions, but the difference between these two, I believe, honestly, if I shot them back to back, this one, the gas system doesn't recoil as sharply. It's almost as though there was a pillow between the buttstock and your shoulder, as where the gas system, the gas piston system, has a much sharper felt recoil, as though that pillow wasn't there. So anyway, I hope this clears up the question, and well, have a good weekend, YouTube. It's Sunday. Make the best of it. Take care.